All right. Well, are we on chapter three already? Chapter three, the image maker, and this is the perfect chapter for all of this new stuff to show up in. So, let's start with the mastermind principles. And where is the mastermind, Kim? Let's see. Hang on, hang on. It's because I'm on the wrong page. Now I can find it. Mastermind principles. Let's see. Pat, do you want to start us off?
I can do that. I begin every mastermind meeting by reading these mastermind principles. I release. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. Jim,
I believe the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom far beyond my own. Ryan,
I understand. I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I am open to looking at myself, my problems, and opportunities from another's point of view. Sarah,
I decide. I decide to release my desire totally in trust to the mastermind, and I am open to accepting new possibilities. Mary.
I forgive. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past so I can move into the future with a clean slate. Pat.
I forgive. I
Oh,
forgive my.
I just said that one. I
Oh,
ask.
I'm sorry. I
That's okay.
ask. I ask the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, my desires, and I hear my mastermind partners supporting me in my fulfillment. Sarah, have you done yet?
Yep. We all have. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, go ahead.
I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I am grateful knowing this is so. Jim, do you want to do the dedication?
me.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. I can't talk right. I've
Oh,
just
Oh,
said
okay.
I'll do it.
Ryan?
Yeah. Dedication and covenant. I now have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with an abundance of all things necessary to live a success-filled and happy life. I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to God and my fellow human beings, to live in a manner that will set the highest example for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
All right. We got the clap in there. Woo. All right. So, I assume, I hope that you've seen my post and or my email about some upcoming changes inside of Magnet 30, and I'm excited about them. So that means these Tuesday calls will not be anymore starting next week. And what we'll do is have just the Wednesday mastermind call each week. And we will talk about You Were Born Rich. We'll talk about Mind First. We'll talk about aspiration. We'll answer questions. We'll collaborate, we'll mastermind, and we will also have some accountability. So, the reason behind all of this is that I've wanted forever, since we started Magnet 30, for it to be the best personal development community ever. And I have been looking at how I can do that. And a personal development community isn't just a place for people to gather information. It's a place where people can come and grow and move forward. And I felt like people we're comfortable and not moving. And so I want people to move. I want to be the space where people actually apply. I want people to be able to speak up and tell the world that they're working on a book or a workshop or whatever it is that they're working on, a coaching um, career. And I want to help people do that. I want to help people collaborate. I want to help people um, hold themselves accountable. And I feel like when we get comfortable, in which a lot of us have, we get complacent. And so it's fun to show up. and talk to each other and then go our merry ways for the next week and then show up again next Tuesday and talk to each other and, oh, this is great. This is great. Learn about Bob and his book. And isn't that really good to read? And we feel good for the moment. And then things slow down and then we meet again and nothing really happens in between. And so I want things to happen in between. I want us to move forward. And honestly, I think everybody needs to be in mastery because that's really where it happens, because that is where the most dedication to yourself occurs, is because you're studying every day, you're meeting 3 times a week, you're doing more for yourself. But I know that not everybody's going to join Mastery, but I do want everyone to join Mastery because that is where it happens. It really is. And it's not about the money, as Bob would always say. That's not what this is about. This is about purpose. And I know that my purpose is to help people believe in themselves and move forward. And just sitting in Magnet 30, not doing anything, isn't helping with that. So I have to make some moves on my end in order for other people to make moves on their end. So, with that being said, does anybody have comments or questions? No? Nothing?
I
Come on.
agree with you. When if we're held accountable, we tend to pay more attention. We take actions. When we're
Yeah.
comfortable, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if we want to grow, we have to do something.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. Go
I
ahead,
just
Sarah.
want to say that, yeah, you're right. It is nice to show up and to be comfortable. Today I was at a book launch and the guy was the author. He said, somebody asked, do you hope this book will change people's lives? And he said, no book is going to change anybody's life. You can read as many books as you want, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah,
And I was like, ouch. That's right. Knowledge is only power if we do something with it.
agreed.
So, yeah, I suppose if, I don't know,
Yeah.
people need to move.
People need to move. Yeah. Well, it's a
And
personal
if we're not
development
moving,
community. Right.
this is you kicking our behind. Yes.
It's my attempt to, yes, because I can't, I can only do so much, right? And just like what you said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Is that what you were gonna say, Ryan?
I was thinking that exact thing right at that moment when you said it. That's why I got all weird. Oh my God. She read my mind.
That was a
Well,
scary
it did have a horse in it. Um,
I
Go
know
ahead, Ryan.
I know a lot of people mean well. They join for a reason. And I love that you're basically turning this upside down, kind of, and giving us an opportunity to really, invest in ourselves in not just in our personal growth and our development, but also in well, most importantly, our growth, because we could, like everybody's saying, we could study and study and study and study or read and read and read, but it's not going to make any difference unless we apply it.
Hmm. Are you looking for something in particular on your screen?
I'm looking for us. There we are.
Oh,
Somehow something else came into the picture. I'm like, where did we go?
I'm looking for us.
I was looking for us. And that's what I'm looking for us. I'm looking for all of you. I miss you. I miss every single one of you. I think about all of you. Not every single day at the same time, but every now and then somebody will come to my mind. And a bunch of you that are not watching right now came to my mind this week as we are embarking on this new adventure, which is exciting. It's exciting because we have people here in our community that are all at many different levels, and they all need to have a cornerstone. They all need a place to land. They all need a central point where we all gather together as a community, as one unit, that we're not separated in these silos, but we're unifying together and We're linking arms with other people that are at the same level that we are, or wanting to study the same things, wanting to grow in a direction, wanting to connect and network with each other and really help each other, and collaborate with each other. And I think what Mary's doing is brilliant. It's bold, by, and it's got to be done. Like she said, you know, it's our human nature to always want to be comfortable. We're addicted to comfort. We're addicted to comfort. And we are just calling you. We're calling your hand. You signed up. You joined. You saw something in it for yourself. Now, let's and help us help you. If you're not able to make the live calls, how can we help coordinate? Maybe reach out to us, and reach out to other members in the group that you know and say, hey, I hear what all these changes are going on. I want, I can't make the live calls, but I really want to stay connected. Let's mastermind about that. Let's talk about what we're doing in our lives and how can we help each other and hold each other accountable, like Pat said. Pat brought that up last night on the Mind First coaching call number 29 and holding because it's the last one.
And holding.
Yeah.
Well, and my goal, well, it's been my purpose ever since I figured out my purpose, and it's to help people understand who they really are, right? Live in harmony with my God and the laws and lead by my example. And helps people. The idea is that I want to reintroduce people to the spiritual side of themselves, but that doesn't always happen until and unless we start understanding these human disciplines that are required to live from that space and that place. And that's really where Magnet Mind or Magnet 30 is in that place of really starting to lead yourself. Because if we don't lead ourselves, we'll never get to where it is that we're going. And that brings us to chapter 3, the image maker, right? We have to create the self-image around who we see ourselves to be. And I know for a fact that going through economy creators and going and fleshing that whole thing out and figuring out the best way to bring all of those pieces together, whether it's the anthology, whether it's the workshop, whether it's the book that I'm writing, whether it's the Magnet 30, whether it's applied mastery, all of those things are shifting and growing my self-image. And so when that happens, and I always come back to that quote from When Harry Met Sally, when you know what you want for the rest of your life, you'll want the rest of your life to start right now. So a lot of people might be saying, well, this might be abrupt. Why aren't we finishing? Or why are we doing it now? Well, guess what? Because it has to be done and it's going to be done. And why? So it's going to be done. And that's just the way it is, and when you know that there's a better way, why wait? So that's why. That's the answer to that question. Um, so really, Magnet 30 is about really getting forward and leading yourself so that you can create an economy around yourself for real. And which brings us into chapter 3, the image maker. So going back to what Bob taught us as consultants to teach on this chapter, he says, let me give you a little history behind this book. There is a lineage, so to speak, that goes way back. There is a rich history that goes along with this book. You have to go back to Andrew Carnegie, who in his day, at the turn of the 20th century, by the way, was the wealthiest man in the world. He spent half of his life earning money and the other half giving it away. Carnegie selected a man by the name of Napoleon Hill to study what caused people to be successful. Carnegie thought it was an absolute shame that people like him were going to their grave and nobody had captured the essence of what made people successful and put it in a plan that could be passed along to other people. He commissioned Hill to do that. Carnegie introduced Napoleon Hill to people like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, some of the most successful people in the world. Carnegie felt strongly that there was something we all have in common. Excuse me. We do great things. So there had to be a golden thread running through our lives. He suggested he'll take the time, study them, and study him, and then put it in an organized plan. He told Hill it would probably take him 20 years. So that is exactly what Hill did. He organized all of the material he had carefully gathered through his studies, and the result was his classic book, Think and Grow Rich. Earl Nightingale, a broadcaster in Chicago, was the most listened to man on the radio back in the 60s. Earl was an extraordinary human being. Most people don't know this, but he was one of the 18 Marines that got blown off the Arizona when Pearl Harbor was bombed. He was one of the few people who lived. Earl, too, was fascinated with success and why it was that so few people became successful. His parents had told him that rich people were not happy and that he should not want to be rich. Though through his own investigation, he came to conclude that there were many rich people who were very happy, leading fulfilled lives, and there were many who were miserable. It was much the same in his own neighborhood. Poor people who were happy and those who were miserable. Earl made a decision to become wealthy. In his classic recording, The Strangest Secret, Earl concluded what all of the great minds before him had come to know, that we become what we think about. Then along comes a young Bob Proctor, who at the age of 26 was given a copy of Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and whose life was impacted so greatly he wanted to know what had happened to him, why he became so successful. Proctor knew he wasn't any different than anyone else, yet he would give away copies of Hill's book to anyone who showed the slightest interest, and yet their lives remained the same. Proctor concluded that he would study anything he could get his hands on that might help him with his quest. He came across Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret, and the rest, as they say, is history. Bob ultimately left a multi-million-dollar business, moved to Chicago to work with his mentor, Earl Nightingale. Bob worked with the Earl Nightingale Corporation or Nightingale Conant Corporation for 5 years and moved on to start his own seminar business. Bob strongly felt it wasn't enough to produce great material. He felt it needed to be taught. And this is key. Earl Nightingale, Bob went into Earl's office and he said, Earl, this needs to be taught. I want to teach this. And Earl said, no, that's not our business, Bob. And Bob said, huh, all right, well, it's going to be my business. And so he went off and branched off and did his own. Knowing that the number of people Bob could reach would be limited to his own physical presence, Bob started the Thinking into Results Consultants division. That's me, and has now passed the baton to me, a certified Thinking into Results consultant. And I am going to share with you what I have learned and has impacted my life. And this is so true. And my life keeps growing and growing and growing because I keep applying this material. And the fact is that if I were not applying this material, I would still be in a gym right now. I really would, because this is the material that said, Mary, you've already created the gym. It's time to move on. And that's why I closed it, because Bob is echoing in my mind. And so I'm like, well, if I actually believe what I teach, I need a big fat do it. It was scary, super scary. Are you kidding? To move away from the sport that I was in for 37 years and go off and do this? Whoa, scary as all hell, I can tell you that. But the fact is, I already built a gym. I already built that whole thing. It's not a C-type goal anymore. And that was just ringing in my ears. And so this material has brought me to where I am and is keeping me moving forward and forward and forward. Hence the changes that are being made, right? Because we need to shift. When we know that something can be better, we need to make it better, right? As we study this book, I'll be introducing, well, as we study this book, I guess I'll stop there because we're going to keep studying it, but we're going to do it on Wednesdays. But we're going to piecemeal different aspects of what people are learning inside of Magnet 30. And people can bring their questions and we can do hot seat coaching. We can do whatever we want on Wednesdays. And there are so many courses inside the member portal that are available to everybody for self-paced courses to take. All three of these are in there, right? Napoleon Hill's How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is in there, of course. This is in here. I believe there's a Science of Getting Rich in there. There's quite a few. So there are lots of things that members can study at any given time, and not just to, again, gather the information, but to apply it. So one of the questions that I'll be asking everybody on Wednesdays is, one, what are you studying? And two, how are you using it to move you forward towards your goal? And yeah, it's going to be an accountability type call as well. And of course, we will mastermind together and help each other grow, because that's what this is all about. You must do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone, right? We have to understand that my growth is on me. Sarah's growth is on Sarah. Jim's growth is on Jim. Pat's growth is on Pat. Ryan's growth is on Ryan. LA's growth is on LA. I can provide so many, just like what Bob said. I gave the book away to everybody and nobody's life changed. Why is that? Why are there so many videos on YouTube? Everything's on YouTube. Shouldn't this world be better? All the information's out there. It's the application. It's the application. And that's really what I want to highlight inside of Magnet 30. People need to start betting in favor of themselves, moving forward in favor of themselves, and committing to growth. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just thinking that, um, you know, some people might really enjoy the book. And so they, on their own, can get together and create a group and study it. And then if they have questions or something, they could just ask it on Wednesday.
Yes. Yes.
Because that way, that's moving forward, I think. That's
Mhm.
leading, and showing up. I don't know, it's just an idea.
No, it's a perfect idea, and that's exactly where we're headed with this. Because if for instance, Sarah, you start reading You Were Born Rich again, and you're like, I would love to mastermind this with two other people. I'm looking for two mastermind partners. Who else is reading it? Who wants to talk about it, right? And then you can have your meeting, and you can bring questions. Yeah, the meeting questions to the Wednesday calls. That would be deep and profound and moving forward. That would be so good. And here's the other thing. I think it might be good in that little mastermind pod for accountability as well. So it could be a really great mastermind slash accountability type of thing. Instead of in front of the whole group, this is what I'm doing, you can share it with one or two other people. I think that's magnificent. Yeah, I love it. Well, any other questions or comments about that so far? No? All right. Well, I want to, speaking of application, look at chapter 3. So inside of chapter 3, first of all, the poem at the beginning is called It's Up to Me. It's up to me. My growth is up to me, right? But he says on the last page, now sit down right here, right now, and write out what you want, right? But that's the 7th time in the chapter that he tells us to stop and write it out. He first tells us on page I numbered all of them. On page number 54, he says, just build the image of prosperity on the screen of your mind and watch what happens. So he wants you to stop and he wants you to imagine and he wants you to, not just you, he wants us to figure out what it is that it looks like in the end when everything's so big and beautiful and done, right? He says, remember though, regardless of how tough things get, you must continue to hold the picture of prosperity. You will very likely run up against a series of circumstances that will, for a time, almost have you convinced that you are actually going backwards. But persistence is the key. Continue to hold the picture. If we don't start by creating a picture, first of all, how can we hold a picture that we've never created? We can't. We have to take the time to decide what we want and make an image in our minds and then a written description of what that is. And that is the message that he's sending in this chapter. The second one is on page 55. He says, so build your image of prosperity and be persistent. The way for your image to materialize, well, will be shown to you. Here's my question. Do we believe that? Do we believe that if we hold an image in our mind, it's going to happen? Or do we just say, "Oh, okay, Bob said it was, so yeah, yeah, probably." But are we doing it? Or are we going, nah, this is hard? I mean, we kind of turn into whiny people when it's not coming to us fast enough. Do we believe it? That's the question. And really, that's only can be answered by you if you really believe it, right? So when Bob says build that image and it will show up, we have to make it a dominating thought in our minds. The image of prosperity, it's beautiful. Mine has lots of horses in it. Green, green grass, horses. It's so nice. I love it. And you guys, you've seen me. Now, last year at this time, I had one horse. Now I have two, right? Some The lady at the barn, one of the ladies at the barn, she goes, Mary, I've been talking to my estate planner, estate attorney, and I want to talk to you about putting Magnum in giving Magnum to you if I die. FYI, there's number three eventually. But do you see how this is happening? But you all know how intentional I am about this, though. I don't just talk about it and think about it when I'm with you guys. I think about it all the time, all the time. And that's what we have to do is be persistent. But to be persistent, we have to know what it is. So the first question is, how clear is my image? Right? Can you write it on a piece of paper? Like Bob says, write down your goal on your card so that if you hand it to somebody on the street, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. Right? You've all read a teenager's essay from school, I'm sure, or a written one, that half of it's in their head and just a little bit's on the paper, right? I have a 15-year-old, so she's learning how to write essays. And I'm like, you got to put it all on the paper. She's like, but Mom, you know all this stuff. And I go, you can't assume that your reader knows anything. You have to tell the reader. So we have to tell the universe. We have to tell our subconscious mind all the time what it is that we want. And just stay true to that vision and live in it as often as we can. So, but we can't do any of that unless we take a minute and write it out, right? So then third time, it's on page 60. He says, he was quoting Philip Nicola. He said, keep your mind on a higher image rather than a lower concern. Important facts versus unimportant facts kind of thing, right? I realize it is not always an easy thing to do. Well, no, there's a lot of crap going on right now. And it's easy to get caught up in all that, isn't it? But it sure pays great dividends for the person who develops the mental strength to do it. And that is what it takes, mental strength. Build your image now. He's saying it again, build your image now and develop the mental strength to hold it. So that's what we do inside of thinking into results is we develop that mental strength with our intellectual faculties and we use all of them all the time, including self-image scripting and the will and the imagination and the attitude. We build on all of this and we help each other. And then on page 61, number 4, he says, so build your image now, right where you are. He's not saying wait until you get the money or wait until you get the house or wait until you lose the weight or wait until this happens or that happens. He's saying do it now. Start with what you've got. Don't even wait until you finish this book, he says. That means put it down and do it, darn it. That's what he's saying. Build it now and let the remaining pages in this book strengthen the image. You don't even have to try. Just let the image of a more prosperous you float to the center of your consciousness. It's already here, so let it appear. Let's go there. It's already here. What does that mean to everybody? Let's talk about that one. What does it mean that it's already here?
It means once we think about it, it already exists. I mean, that's just kind of a big picture. It's like it once we create it in our mind, it's already available to us, and what we have to use is our will to be able to see it constantly in our mind's eye, regardless of what's going on in our lives.
Okay. Let me ask you this follow-up question. Do we, is it here because we think about it, or do we think about it because it's already here?
The second one.
That's true.
I mean,
Mhm.
it's been available, just like inventing the light bulb. That was possible many years before that. It just didn't have the knowledge to be able to create it.
Yeah.
Once they had the knowledge, they could do it, but it was available years ago.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like the whole Mars thing. The fact is, because he can think it, it is definitely available to happen.
Mhm.
It's gonna happen. I don't know if Elon's gonna do it or somebody else is gonna do it. He looks like the one that wants to do it first, obviously, but it's gonna happen,
Well,
right?
yeah, that's what I meant. I said when you think about it, that means it's already here. Otherwise, you wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah, it's already here. So that should take a little pressure off. It's already here. So what do we need to do to get there or to bring it here?
Be persistent
In what?
in holding that image and going after and taking decisive imperfect action or perfect action, just action towards attaining that in the physical form. But it's not easy. That's why persistence, why he brings it up earlier in the chapter around, Napoleon's chapter 9. And he says right before that, I can't remember exactly, but he says you're going to likely come up against some obstacles, and it's going to make you think you're not. I say it comes the image of you're losing your mind. You're not doing this. Why are you doing this? Kind of thing. But that's the process. You just have to stay in and stay persistent.
Hmm. Okay. Persistent in what, Sarah? You raised your hand.
I was just going to say, well, we have to take action because if we just think about it, I don't think it's going to happen that easily. For me, it's more about you think about it, you hold the image of what you want, you don't lose sight of that, but then you take action towards obtaining it.
Hmm. So when we're thinking about the image, what does it do to us physically?
It gives us some excitement and fervor and joy and inspiration and enthusiasm and
What law
encouragement.
is that?
Raises your vibration.
Vibration.
Yes.
Yay, Jeff, you said it.
Yes, it raises
Of
your
course,
vibration
Jeff.
and it raises your vibration to that place, to that goal, to that thing you want. So, Mary Morrissey said it. I'll say it again. You can't get to your goal from where you are. You must come
Amen.
from your goal. And that is exactly what she means.
Mhm.
Bob says, there is a place, right? Your goal is a place. It's a place on that vibrational frequency of the goal. It's a vibration. Get there. And so when we hold this image on the screen of our mind about what that looks like, then we go, oh, look at all the horses. Oh, they love their green, green grass. It's so nice. And they're just swishing their tails and chomping the grass. And it's, look at this, all of that stuff. I'm in that vibration.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it all starts with those tiny little steps. Because I know that she would say right after that is start with what you have. Start with where you are and do what you can with what you have. And that may be even something as simple as, if you're, Jim had talked about his dream house at one point, and it may be something as simple as just dreaming about the space that he wants it to be at, and then start creating a blueprint of each room and where everything's going to go and this and that. And then maybe, the money that you start accumulating, hire somebody to make that blueprint, make those plans, make actual plans for the house, those kinds of things. Just doing little by little by little with what you have and what you can do. But that's the key. Everybody says action, move. You got to move. You got to take action.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then on page 67, he says, start right where you are. This is what Ryan was talking about. Build the image of what you want, and then act as if you already have received it. Express somewhat differently, act like the person you want to become. For as Goethe, the German philosopher, once wrote, before you can do something, you first must be something. So let's say uh, it was 2012 and my husband and I said, let's let's be plant-based. So from that moment on, we decided that we were going to eat a plant-based diet. We considered ourselves plant-based and we ate some cheese. Oh, dang it. Okay. Now I'm plant-based, right? So what we do is continue to move and act as if we're plant-based until all of a sudden it's easy. And then we are, right? But we have to make that decision. I'm eating this way. I'm eating this way. I'm eating this way. I'm
So
eating
you
this.
don't eat any meat.
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
Everything that just comes out of the ground, right?
Yep.
Well, I guess fruit would work too,
Yeah,
right?
fruit would work. Yeah. Fruits, vegetables, yeah, grains. Yeah. No dairy, no eggs. I'm really strong too. I still have lots of muscle. But we decided that that's what we were going to be. And then we worked at it. And then it became a habit. And that's what we are, right? So you have to identify the identity that you want to hold and then come from there. So as someone who eats plant-based, well, I'm not going to go to there's a restaurant called Divine Bovine right down the street. I'm probably not going to go there, right? So as a plant-based eater, I'm going to go to the vegetarian place, or I'm going to go to the Vietnamese place, or you have different options. You're not going to go to the meat place. Do you see? So you make decisions based upon who you're being.
And then you keep
Sarah's like, this is ridiculous.
going with it too, though.
What did you say?
It's not temporary. You keep going with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a series of decisions.
A permanent change.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. right? I'm,
What,
I'm only vegetarian for this meal today. Yeah, no, it's always.
what do you typically have for breakfast?
Well, coffee. And then I don't eat a lot of breakfast. I actually wait until I get home from the barn to eat. So sometimes I just eat lunch. And breakfast though is like Lola, for instance, she's plant-based too. She eats avocado toast or she eats oatmeal or smoothies, things like that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yum.
Yep. She likes potatoes. Go ahead, Sarah. Why are you laughing so much?
No, I was laughing because I decided I'm not going to eat ice cream anymore. And so that means I can't go to the ice cream place because if I go, you know,
It's like
I
can't go to
might not
Divine
be ice cream
Bovine.
free that day.
See? Yeah. Make decisions from that place,
Yeah.
right? Or you know what you could say instead of I don't eat ice cream, you say I eat sorbet
Mm,
or
I don't
something.
like sorbet
Yeah.
that
Well,
much.
Me either. I only like my sorbet.
yeah.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so but do you see you claim the identity and then make decisions based on that identity that you claim. But you have to decide what that identity is, right? And so the sixth time he says it, it's also on page 67. He says, as you finish this chapter, lay the book down. He's telling us step by step what to do. And my question is, are we doing it? Lay the book down and then become very relaxed. Let creative energy fill your consciousness and then mold it into an image of yourself in a much more abundant state of life. See yourself already in possession of what you previously only dreamed of. Become extremely conscious of the truth that your entire being is not only filled with, but also is surrounded by the original substance all images are made of. So do not just keep reading page after page of the book without acting on the suggestions which I have been giving you. Oh my gosh, he's saying, big fat do it. And then the last one is on the last page. 68. Therefore, make the time right now, this very minute, to build the image of in your mind of yourself already in possession of prosperity. He even gives us space to write. So, if this chapter doesn't tell us, the application must be there. I mean, he laid it out. You have to do and act on what he's telling us. Just like Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. How many times does he say, now do this and go back here and do that and do this and write this down and do this then? You know how I don't know how many people read that book and just go, yeah, good idea, and just keep going, right? Probably most of them. Otherwise, this world would be really, 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 really far advanced. Right? So let this be a reminder to do, right? So we need to decide who we want to be and then come from that place and be it. Be it. Act from that place and continuously use your imagination and use it to make that image stronger and make it better because it always gets better. My self-image script gets better and better every time I read it because I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna add that, right? So, yeah. Does anybody have any other questions or comments on this chapter?
It just goes right along with Maxwell Maltz.
Yeah.
It really does.
Give us a little more on that, Pat, because psycho-cybernetics is phenomenal.
I hadn't read that book before, but I've really enjoyed it because, her personal image, self-image, it's what creates our whole life. Whatever we do, whether it's our career, our relationships, our money, whatever, it's how we think of ourselves. And if we think we're capable of doing something, we're going to go do it. We'll make it happen.
Mhm.
But if we don't have a good self-image, then people just fall into life. That's why I say fall into life. They're not creating their life. They're falling
Yeah,
into it.
that's a good way of putting it. It really is. And don't you think that there's a huge component of worthiness that is involved in all of that?
I could never have dreamed when I was in, say, high school that I would be thinking like this or doing this work.
Mm-hmm.
Never would have thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My self-image was just,
Now look at you. That's right. Yeah. You're a joy to be around, Pat. Yay.
thank you,
All
man.
right, everybody. Well,
It's been fun.
it has been fun. Well, and we'll still see each other on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
But it's just time. It's time because I want to help people move. And one of the things that I was thinking of too, along the lines of what Sarah was mentioning about masterminds, is having 90-day blocks of, hey, what are you going to read this 90 days, and then maybe people form a mastermind little group around that, or an accountability pod around that. Maybe a group of people wants to read The Science of Getting Rich, and they do that together, and they spend 90 days on it, or 60, whatever, but I want to help people who want to help themselves. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're wasting
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
Very smart.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
right.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.